Hi, and welcome back to another AI in 5. I'm your host, Simon Chris, and joining me today is Ben Skinner. Ben is the founder and CEO of Magpie, and we're going to be talking about the need to curate data to make AI work. Hey, Ben, welcome to AI in 5. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me. Pleasure to be here.
Loving your backdrop. That's clearly not an AI, so that's a good start. I want to jump right in and just talk about, the AI is only as good as the data that it works with. And I don't know, I'm seeing a lot of people focusing on the flashy front end application and not as much on the back end data. Is that what you're seeing?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very easy trap to fall into. Like everyone likes fancy new AI agent builders, but it really is kind of crap in, crap out, if you excuse my language. The context window is still so important for these AI models that
Yep.
yeah, we went from prompt engineering to now context engineering. It's definitely important, but we're also seeing that. There's still a lot of manual maintenance needed for businesses or teams using it where it's just more of the same copying and pasting. And so yeah, certainly
Could
seeing
you
something.
expand? Could you expand on context engineering? That's going to be a new term for a lot of listeners.
Yeah, well, I don't like to add buzzwords, but it's everything that you can think of when you think of prompting and asking the AI exactly what you need, but also any supplemental PDFs or documents or URLs. And it's also curating the actual tools that the AI models have access to. So tools being like scraping the web, creating a PDF, making an image.
Mm.
If you just give the AI every tool under the sun, it's going to just get as confused as you would if you were given a whole bunch of different tools to
Yep.
use. So yeah, it's another fancy term, but it's just making sure that you give the model kind of exactly what you need to get the best answer possible.
And are you finding that you need a single curated data? So I'll load the question a little. There is a lot of people talking about zero data replication and having AI go and pull the data from its data source. And yet there's others that are still talking, oh no, you must have a data lake or a data warehouse or a lake house. Where are you on that? What are you seeing?
Yeah, look, I think that there's still a lot to be figured out. I tend to err away from duplicating data.
Yeah.
And there's also a big security angle here where um, even if you're giving snippets of the context or these data warehouses to the models, there's still stuff getting leaked. So yeah, I think we're still figuring out. It is interesting to think of though, particularly around like removing personal information. If you put a smaller, less powerful AI model right next to the data, and then creating a connection between your AI interface or your chat GPT, and then talking between two agents, because it does limit how much context is shared. But I think people are still trying to figure out if that's exactly what's needed. From what we're seeing, when you've got, not maybe a data lake or a warehouse, but if you've just got, Google Docs and, OneDrive, like if you've got just
Mhm.
files that you care about, there's still a very important role for RAG or for just searching within these documents like you would search yourself. And the latest models are getting very good at using those kind of tools to search and explore the context space.
Yeah, wow. So what should people be thinking about when they're thinking about the data needed for AI? Where do they start?
It's kind of this is an interesting question because
Other than calling you, of course. Where do they
yeah,
start?
give you my cell phone number and we can start there. But ironically, we're finding like it's very similar to what you would need to give to an employee or someone you've just brought onto your team. So if you have great onboarding docs there, then that's a good place to start because yeah, these AIs are trained on the internet and some specific bits of data, but they don't know about your business and what makes it special. So those kind of documents where there's specific processes are helpful. But then there is a bit of an art of if you're asking a question that has to do with HR and you're giving it the full breadth of your business on a tech startup, it's going to get a bit confused just by having everything there. So you can either
Mhm.
manually go and give it access to those chunks of information, or you can kind of break them up into different Google Docs. But what we're trying to build with Magpie is we do a lot of that for you. There's almost like a in everyone's head in a business, there's like a map of like, this is this department, this is that department, and there's links between them of who has control over the HR docs versus the engineering documentation. And there's not really a good way to represent that yet. And we're trying to make some roads there to help humans understand that map of the business context, which then in turn actually makes that really helpful for AI to explore that as well.
Wonderful. Well, believe it or not, we're at time, but I like to ask everyone the same question, and I'll give
Yeah.
it to you. Outside of getting your data straight, what would be your piece of advice for a company just starting their AI journey? What should they do? What should they think about?
There's probably two things. One is stay up to date with the news, try not to get too overwhelmed. If you're technically inclined, there's a few blogs. There's one by a guy called Simon Willison, and he's just loves trying out things and blogging about how it compares to what he's seen.
Yep.
And then on a human side, I would just say, give everyone a bit of grace and take a step back and realize that we're all figuring this out. I'm in this every day, and even I forget that I can, chat to a coding model or run some research through ChatGPT. So
Yep.
yeah, we're getting there. We're learning. Be kind to
Great
it.
advice. Ben, thank you so much for being a part of AI in 5.
Thank you so much for having me, Simon. A pleasure.